Okay, so today is Super Bowl Sunday, so I just want to take this time to um, talk about football and really my experiences with football. I was never into football myself. I played football when I was in high school as a defensive end, and so I did soccer quarterback or two on junior varsity, but my I just wasn't good enough to get to varsity, let alone get a scholarship. So I had dropped out of athletics during my junior year in high school to work an actual job where I actually make money. So, and that's another story for another day. So that was the extent of my football career. I never did watch football growing up. I wasn't around a lot of boys and men when it comes to sports. I did play with the boys when like football and in basketball and other sports, but I just wasn't that good at sports, and I just wasn't into watching the NFL or college football games or any sports for that matter. So yeah, I didn't. Sports was never my thing. I was more into video games, and it wasn't sports games either. It was more adventure games and platforming and RPG games. Um, Probably the only sports related game that I was into was games like NBA Jams and NFL Blitz, where those games were more arcade like than realistic. I wasn't into to Madden games just because all these strategies that you have to know about in order to do each play. It just wasn't my thing. I wasn't raised on football, on knowing how football works. See, I'm a single. I'm a product of a single mother, so you know I didn't have a lot of. I did have some uncles around, but they weren't around often enough to influence me into getting into sports. So that's that's why I was never into football, basketball, or any other sports. I never followed any players. I wasn't loyal to any football team or basketball team. It wasn't something that interested me at all. So anyway, fast forward to the summer of 2023, where I went to Albertsons, this grocery store here down in East Texas. It's a grocery store chain called Albertsons in Longview, Texas. I went inside, and there was this woman who works there. Um, I think her last name is Williams, basically. I can't think of her first name. It's kind of a weird first name that it's kind of hard to pronounce. But anyway, her last name is Williams, and she talked to me and she told me about her nephew who played for the NFL, named Trent Williams. And I said okay because I wasn't into football, and I'm still not into football. And she kept telling me to follow him, and so I kept telling her, I'm not into football. I'm not interested in following no football player. I don't follow celebrities, because celebrities don't do anything for me. I don't know. Well, I do know someone who is a celebrity, but I mean, we're not friends because that was a time when I I needed help, and I reached out to that celebrity who happens to be my classmate, and he didn't respond. So that's why I don't put any stock in celebrities. I don't follow them. I don't talk about them, unless there's a scandal going on. That's probably the only thing that interests me about celebrities is the scandals that they have in their lives. That's the only thing that kind of perks me up. If they have scandals or if they've been arrested for something outrageous, that's the only thing that might perk my interest. But other than that, I really don't be following celebrities or be trying to um, read up on their lives and stuff and follow them and I don't idolize no celebrity because they're people just like me. It just the only difference is they've got better opportunities. Somebody sort of guided them in the right direction, or they took advantage of an opportunity that opened up and they jumped at it, and there they go. It just a lot of times the difference between a celebrity and everybody else is the opportunities that come their way, or the people in their life, or both. So that's why I don't idolize celebrities. And plus, the ones who I do know, they don't do anything for me. They tend not to reach back out to help. So, but anyway, this woman, her last name is Williams. She tried to get me to follow Trent Williams. I didn't really care for him because I didn't know who he was. He's out of Longview, Texas. I think at that time he was playing for the Cowboys. But now he plays for the 49ers. So, and that tells you right there, I don't follow any teams or football players. So so even though I kept telling her I'm not into football or sports or people who's from my area who are into sports, she kept trying to pressure me. So I said, okay. I made a mental note of his name for later, because I decided, you know what, since she's going to keep pressuring me into following him on social media, why don't I just find out who he is and ask him if he'd be willing to help me out in some way? Because at that time, the transmission in my car had went out, and I needed around $5,000 in order to get a new one installed. So I ended up having to take out a loan in order to do so at the local credit union. And so I was able to get a new transmission put in my car. So fast forward to last year, at around summer, that same car that I put the transmission in, it went out once again. But right before that, I had decided to get a new car, just so that I'll have a backup vehicle. I took out a loan in order to, I took out financing at that dealership in order to get a newer car, so that I'll have two cars, and I won't have to worry about transportation if the car that I had got the transmission installed in went out on me. Now that car with the transmission that was installed in has about 400,000 miles on it. Yes, that's a real number, 400,000 miles on it. And it's on its second transmission, and it has the same motor. It's the 2017 Nissan Versa. I had it since 2017 when it was new. I remember I think it was May 2017 when I bought it. I was working as a online test scorer, and so I was making good enough money in order to take out a loan through my credit union in order to get that car. It was at 3% too. It was at a good rate, even though my credit itself wasn't that good. I guess it was also because I was getting direct deposits in that credit union's account that they were able and willing to give me a loan at that cheap of an interest rate. This was back in 2017, and so fast forward to now, the car it hasn't been working since last summer, so when it went out on me. I think it had something to do with the fuel pump, but I'm not sure. I really haven't had anybody to look at it yet because I just been driving the newer car, so I had a means of transportation, so I didn't really have to worry about taking out any expense to fix the older car. So anyway, so fast forward from there to this year. Well, really, I had caught a case last year because it was as you probably see in my previous videos, a guy was on my property that wasn't supposed to be there, and his windshield got busted, and because me and him had a disagreement prior to that, he's trying to blame it on me. So now I got this case, and I needed help with getting an attorney, paying for an attorney, a paid attorney, to ensure that my rights aren't violated, and I know what's going on in my case and how we can proceed from what's going on. And so that's when I decided to recently reach back out to Trent Williams, because I had heard earlier, late last year, that he had gotten bonuses I already know that he's a millionaire, but he also got bonuses as well. So I reached back out to him and asked Trent Williams if he could be willing to help me out with my legal defense, and plus helping me pay off my car loan, since I'm actually struggling right now to pay it, since I have this legal bill that I'm dealing with. So anyway, um, Trent um, Trent was slow to answer me at first.